The moment the police officers stepped into the glass-walled lobby, every conversation stopped. Dozens of employees turned their heads toward the exhausted man standing near the reception desk. His wrinkled shirt was stained with coffee. Dark circles sat heavily beneath his eyes. One hand held a worn backpack, while the other rested protectively on the shoulder of a little girl clutching a stuffed rabbit. Across from him stood one of the most powerful CEOs in the city, her face cold with certainty. She had already made up her mind. To her, the man was a fraud. And within the next 10 minutes, everyone inside that building would discover a truth so shocking that it would change their lives forever. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and never judging someone by their appearance, please like this video, comment below where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to Beyond Single Dad for more emotional stories that touch the heart. It was a bright Tuesday morning in downtown Chicago. Sunlight reflected off the towering windows of Sterling Global Holdings, one of the fastest-growing technology companies in America. Inside the sleek headquarters, employees rushed through security gates carrying expensive laptops and designer coffee cups. No one noticed the tired father entering through the revolving doors. His name was Rowan Mercer. At 38 years old, Rowan looked far older than his age. Life had carved deep lines into his face. 4 years earlier, he had lost his wife, Mara, to an aggressive illness that emptied their savings and shattered the future they had planned together. Since then, every day had become a balancing act between grief, fatherhood, and survival. His 7-year-old daughter, Juniper, was all he had left. That morning had started badly. Juniper's school unexpectedly closed because of a maintenance emergency. Rowan's babysitter canceled at the last minute. With nowhere else to go, he had no choice but to bring his daughter with him. What nobody knew was that Rowan wasn't applying for a job. He wasn't delivering supplies. And he certainly wasn't lost. He had come for a board meeting. Unfortunately, nobody recognized him. Years earlier, Rowan had been one of Sterling Global's original investors. Back when the company was nothing more than an idea discussed in a rented garage, Rowan had quietly invested nearly everything he owned. Shortly afterward, tragedy struck his personal life, forcing him away from business affairs entirely. While the company exploded into a billion-dollar enterprise, Rowan disappeared from public view. Most employees had never heard his name. Even worse, the current CEO had never met him. Victoria Hale was brilliant, ambitious, and fiercely protective of the company's image. Since becoming CEO 3 years earlier, she had transformed Sterling into an industry giant. She trusted facts, appearances, and first impressions. That morning, when security informed her that a disheveled man with a child claimed he belonged in the executive boardroom, she immediately assumed something was wrong. The expensive building had experienced several security incidents recently. Her patience was already thin. When she walked into the lobby and saw Rowan standing there with his daughter, her suspicions only grew stronger. His shoes were worn. His backpack looked old. His daughter looked nervous. To Victoria, nothing about him matched the image of a major shareholder. Employees gathered nearby, whispering and staring. Rowan tried explaining himself calmly. He presented identification and requested access to the board meeting. But nobody listened carefully. The assumptions had already begun. Victoria believed he had somehow obtained outdated information and was attempting to gain unauthorized access. Within minutes, she made a decision. She called the police. The lobby fell silent. Juniper squeezed her father's hand. For a brief moment, Rowan looked down at his daughter and saw fear filling her eyes. That hurt more than anything else. He wasn't embarrassed for himself. He was heartbroken for her. After years of hardship, after every sacrifice, after every sleepless night spent working freelance jobs while raising a child alone, his daughter was once again watching the world treat her father as if he didn't belong. The police arrived quickly. Employees watched from every floor overlooking the lobby. Phones appeared. Rumors spread. The atmosphere became tense. Then something unexpected happened. One of the senior board members entered through a private elevator. Arthur Bennett had been with Sterling Global since the beginning. He was one of the few people who remembered the company's earliest days. The moment Arthur saw Rowan standing beside the officers, his face turned pale. He rushed across the lobby. The room grew quiet. Arthur recognized him instantly. The exhausted father everyone had dismissed wasn't an intruder. He wasn't a fraud. He wasn't a nobody. He was Rowan Mercer, the man who owned 50% of the company. The silence that followed felt endless. Victoria's confidence vanished. Employees stared in disbelief. Security guards exchanged nervous glances. Even the police officers looked confused. Arthur quickly explained the truth. Years ago, Rowan's investment had saved Sterling from collapse. Without him, the company would never have survived long enough to become successful. While Rowan stepped away to care for his family during unimaginable personal hardship, he had never sold his shares. His ownership remained intact. Half the company belonged to him. The realization spread through the lobby like a shockwave. The same people who had ignored him moments earlier now looked at him differently. But Rowan noticed something important. Nothing about him had changed. He was still the same father. Still the same man carrying an old backpack. Still the same parent holding the hand of a little girl. Only their perception had changed. Victoria felt genuine shame. For the first time in years, she realized how easily success had blinded her. She had judged a person's worth by appearance instead of character. As the board meeting finally began, Rowan could have demanded consequences. He could have fired people. He could have humiliated those who had doubted him. Instead, he chose compassion. During the meeting, he proposed something nobody expected. He wanted Sterling Global to establish a support program for single parents working at the company. Flexible schedules. Emergency childcare assistance. Family support resources. Scholarships for employees' children. The proposal passed unanimously. Months later, hundreds of families benefited from the program. Lives improved. Children received opportunities. Parents found hope. And Victoria never forgot the lesson she learned that day. Because true wealth wasn't measured by office titles, luxury suits, or corner offices. It was measured by humility, resilience, and the ability to treat every person with dignity. Rowan Mercer left the building that evening holding Juniper's hand. The sun painted the city in golden light. For the first time in years, his daughter smiled without worry. And in that moment, Rowan knew something beautiful. His greatest achievement had never been owning $500 million company. It was raising a daughter who would grow up understanding that a person's value comes from their heart, not their appearance. Special request, comment below with the words, "Kindness sees beyond appearances," if you believe people deserve respect before judgment. And if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Your support helps Beyond Single Dad continue sharing stories that inspire compassion, hope, and second chances. Because sometimes, the person the world overlooks is the very person who helped build it. And sometimes, the greatest power isn't ownership, success, or wealth. It's choosing kindness when you have every reason not to.